If you are an engineer or an engineering student who just opened LS PrePost for the first time and felt completely lost, then this video is specifically made for you. No confusing tutorial, no assumption that you always know the software, just a clear step-by-step walkthrough from someone who understands exactly what you're starting from. So, here are 3 reasons why you need to watch this video to the very end. Number 1, you will know how to navigate the LS PrePost software with confidence. Number 2, you will know how to import simulation files correctly, avoiding common mistakes made by beginners. Number 3, you will have the foundation and workflow that will help you in your future videos. I am done for Fortune, and welcome to Fortune Here. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something. Please, if this content saves you just some minutes of confusion, subscribing to this channel takes exactly 1 second. 1 click, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will never miss another tutorial on this channel. If you find this content helpful, a like takes less than a second, and it helps our content reach engineer and engineering students who need it just as much as you do. You can also follow Fortune Here on LinkedIn for shorter tips, quick insight, and update between videos. Now let us get into it. Alright, now we have our LS PrePost open inside our computer. And one thing before we start, if you do not have LS PrePost installed inside your computer, I have a dedicated video for that linked in the description. It is short and straight to the point, so check it out before you come back to this video. Now, if you have already opened LS PrePost, the first thing I want you to do is, if you see any welcoming tab, just close it. You don't need it for now. And now the second thing we are going to do is with the user interface. And before we touch anything, I am going to give you a full orientation for it to be much easier. So think of the interface as having 8 key areas, and I'm going to walk you through them. Let's say you start with the number 1, which is the graphic viewpoint. And the graphic viewpoint is basically the image you're seeing now, this large empty space. And for us to go down that path, let me just drag and drop a path for it to be easier. Okay. And now what we are going to do is, I am just going to not show this part. That's all what I'm going to do. And now, from here we have, I think the graphic, the user interface for the graphic viewpoint is visible now. Here we have the coordinate system. And the coordinate system basically shows how the model or the geometry is oriented. Let's say in the y direction, in the zy axis. So that's just that. And after the graphic viewpoint, let's say you're going to move to the menu bar. The menu bar is at the top of your screen. Here it is. You can see there's the geometry, application, setting. And this is where you handle the file management part, software preferences, and you have access to other higher level functions. And now if you see just below the menu bar, you see the Feature Manager tree. Let's say this is the bar, the side where is your tree list of all the assemblies. Let's say if I go to boundary and click this plus icon, you see it shows the sub component attached to it. So if you are working with a complex model with multiple components, this is where you navigate and manage them. Now you can see here you have the right toolbar, and basically if you want to make any adjustment on your toolbar, you can go to view and toolbar. Here you see my toolbar is selected to text and icon right, and on the bottom one is text and icon bottom. So that's what I did for my configuration, and I think it makes it more easier, and I think it makes it simpler to navigate. So the right toolbar, this is for me one of the most important toolbars for our day-to-day work, because it gives you direct access to both the pre-processing and the post-processing tool you will need. So you will constantly be working with the right toolbar. And yeah, now you have the bottom toolbar. Here's the bottom toolbar, and it basically shows you in fact it controls the model rendering, how your model is displayed visually, how let's say the shading, wireframe, edges, the mesh, you can put it in shrink. Let's just put back this model, and let's say we are going to click to shrink. See what happens. Click back to shrink, get back to mesh, you remove mesh, and you see what happens. So you can just play along with all of that to kind of understand what each feature represents, and we're going to move along with that. And you know, sometimes there is a floating toolbar. In my own, I don't have a floating toolbar because I disabled it. You can enable it if you go to view toolbars. But basically, the floating toolbar, for those who are used to CAD softwares like SolidWorks, maybe Fusion 360, is where you can actually, sometimes it's where you see the model rendering, the different characteristics of the component, how you want it to be displayed. So that's just that for the floating toolbar. And just below it we have the command line, and this is the command line. I'm clicking here. The command line is, let's say, this is where you can type operation directly if you prefer text-based input over toolbar clicks. So for those who are used to using ANSYS, the ANSYS command section, yeah, it gives you a lot of advantages when it comes to maybe trying to understand or maybe automate everything. It depends on your workflow, it depends on what you're trying to do. But the command manager is always, the command line is always very, very important. And alongside the command line, there's also the message window. The message window is, for me, one of the most overlooked part of the interface, mainly by beginners, because this is, let's say, it gives you the warning, the error messages. It make, like, you need to make it a habit to look at this window each and every time, so that if something goes wrong, you can check directly there, and most of the time the answer is almost there. You know, when you see someone who has some difficulties with ANSYS or LS PrePost, it's just that they don't usually know where the error comes from, and I think we'll be using a lot the message window. Yeah. So to summarize, I said we have 8 areas: the graphic viewpoint at the center, the menu bar at the top, the right feature manager, the right toolbar, the feature tree on the left, the floating toolbar. It is not shown, but it's actually there sometimes, depending on how you've configured your graphic viewpoint. There's the command line and there's the message window. So you're going to keep these 8 areas in mind, as we will be referencing them by name along the two. So now that you know the interface, let's put it to work and import a first file. Now, basically in LS PrePost there are 2 ways to open a file. The first method is drag and drop. You locate your file in the Windows Explorer, drag it and drop it directly into the graphic viewpoint. That's basically what I did to open this file. However, I want us to use the second method for now because it gives you more control and helps you understand. So the second method is through the menu bar. So we are going to File, click on File, and you're going to Open. And you will see several options. The 2 most important ones for this tutorial series are the LS binary plot and the LS keyword file. So specifically, let's start with the LS binary plot. This is for opening result files. So after a simulation has finished running, the stress, the deformation, the velocity, any output from a completed simulation is basically located inside the binary plot. And the second one, the keyword file, is for opening simulation setup files. Let's say your geometry, your mesh, material definition, boundary condition. These are the .key or the .key or the .key files. Okay. If you see a different extension, you may have the wrong file, and I think choosing the wrong one is one of the most common mistake made by beginners. So let's go to File, Open, and let's click our LS keyword file. Now, for now, I'm going to use a ball plate impact final.k. If you don't have it, no problem. It's linked in the description. Click it and open it. Perfect. This is that's displayed. Okay. Now, one of the common mistakes, like I was saying, I see from beginners is the first thing to check is whether you selected the right option. And like I said, for this tutorial, we are basically going to focus on the binary plot and the keyword file. So before you click open, 2 more things I want you to check is, first, you look at the file path. If any other file name in the path contains spaces, because it's very important. Let me go back to File, Open, keyword file, and this is it. You need to look for the spaces because else people may have trouble reading it. If that's the case, move your file to a simpler path or just rename the file. You see. So now you click the model. You click on the path. Sorry. You open. Before we go any further, I want to show you something that will completely change how you work on LS PrePost and how your interface look like. This step is optional, so you do not have to do this. But personally, I usually do that because it gives me high contrast and it permits me to see exactly what I'm doing. So I'm going to change the background to white, and the reason is simple. It adds high contrast, everything becomes easier to see, and it just looks clean and professional. So here's how to do it. You go to Settings, you go to Configuration Settings, and then you go to Colors. After you reach Color, now if at this level your LS PrePost freezes, that's sometimes it happens. I have a video for that, and make sure to watch that. It's very simple and quick, straight to the point, so watch it. Now after you go to Colors, then now you have a list of the color panel. Now my background color, I like to give it a white color. Now you are not obliged to do it, like I said, those are just my personal preferences. Now text color, set to black. Timestamp color, set to black. label color set to black. No, then you click OK. So now you look at your interface. You see the background has changed, but you will notice the feature tree on the left still has its old color. So and you see some of the text cannot be seen. We need to fix that as well. So you go to geometry. You're going to settings, configuration settings, geometry, general. Okay. Now from here you see the feature tree color, and you see you change it to black, and then okay, and you see now the text of the feature tree can be displayed. Now okay, perfect. Now you see an option called feature tree color, and that's it. You change it to black, and now everything is visible, clean, high contrast, professional. Again, you do not have to do this. I just prefer this background. This is a personal preference, so I think this is how you get to it. Now let us talk about how to actually navigate inside this interface with the command shortcuts. If I want to rotate the model, you see, there are some couple ways of doing that. Firstly, I'll use the control. I'll click on control, and then I will use the rotating wheel on the mouse, and I'm just clicking on control. This is the easiest way. Yeah. Now you can then left click and drag. But what happens here? Now you see that the mesh disappears, but I am rotating it, you see, but the mesh disappears, and when I stop rotating and I unclick, this is what happens, it comes back. Now, if you don't want to do it, instead of doing it, you can click on shift and still left click and drag. And now what happens? What's happening is that it doesn't actually makes the model to disappear during the rotation. This is another way. I think this one is better, in fact, depending on your preferences. The truth is that if I can highlight the main difference between the two is that the control puts the model into the wireframe mode while rotating. And you know, when you're working with let's say if you're working with a very large complex model, you see, it will make the rotation a little bit smoother. You see, that is to actually gain some computational power, you see. But now when you click on shift, it keeps the full mesh visible. So if you are working on very complex model, this might slow down your computer a little bit, you know, as you rotate. Now you are going to see the zoom in and the zoom out function, and let's say you have two ways of doing that. I did it previously. You can click on shift or control and you use the scroll mouse wheel. This is it. You scroll the mouse wheel, this is it. Yeah, here I'm clicking on control, and now if I click on shift, it's basically the same thing, you see. You can now hold on the right mouse button and drag up and down. Let's say I'll click shift, hold on the right mouse button. You see, I'm dragging up and I'm dragging down. This is basically what happens. Let's say I hold control and I do the same thing. And now when you hold control, you see it gets into wireframe mode. This for complex assemblies. If you are working on a complex assembly, this is basically what you will need to do for you to save some computational power. Now you are going to see the pan, how to pan, and it's basically between the control and the shift buttons, you see. So you are just going to use, let's say you click on the control button, and now you click on the middle scroll button, and this is it. Now I am panning in wireframe mode. what is happening, the main thing you need to keep in mind is that each time I click on control, I am entering the wireframe mode, if I can say it like that. Now, when I click on shift and I click on the middle scroll button, you see, I am actually panning, but I am keeping the mesh and the display. Now we are going to see also this one thing I want to show you is auto center. And let's say I zoom, and let's say my model is not visible. You see, it happens a lot sometimes. You can just come and click here, and that's it. Now, if you don't want to click on this auto center, you can just say, that is it, my model is missing. I click on Control A, it comes back. So that's the shortcut for that. And you know, the truth is, it helps a lot. Now, it depends. You can import, you can be working on, let's say you're working on in a complicated, if you're having a complicated setup with a lot of different models inside your main model. Maybe you're trying to make an impact simulation, and the body of impact, let's say the body of impact is really far and you can't really see. So what you usually do is use this shortcut, and yeah. So now I think if we have to summarize what I just said, we have to rotate. We rotate in wireframe mode. We use control and the left click drag. Now if we want to rotate with the mesh, we are going to use shift with the left click drag. Now if you want to zoom in, zoom out, shift or control, scroll, or right click drag. Yeah. Now if you want to pan, control shift, middle mouse button. Now if you have to auto center, you can either click control A, or you can click directly on the auto center button down here. And maybe I think yeah, that's just that. You know, these are the fundamentals you need, the foundation of what you need to understand when it comes to the user interface in LS PrePost. And we are not going to talk about the right toolbar for now, because I feel it is a little bit advanced, you see. But if you are interested in knowing more about what we are going to do, because here we have a plate. Let's say we have a plate and we have a ball, we can create a simple impact simulation from here. So if you want to see the created simple ball impact simulation, just watch the next video, because I'm definitely going to simulate it. Now let's go and save, because this is the last point. Let's say we can save as. Now since we didn't make any simulation, if I can say it like that, for now I just imported, so let's say we didn't make any simulation on that. I'm just going to, let's just save it as a keyword, save as a keyword, and maybe you're going to browse the location, save it, and that's good. So thanks and goodbye.